The question that I ponder is, how can we reintroduce the idea of beauty into the discussion of sustainability? But if sustainability is to be attractive and successful, then it must reveal to our senses and convey meaning.
Art is a compulsion, and that it is expressed in many ways. Our work is about expressing it to people who actually are usually completely isolated from the opportunity to access the arts. And so we started the Health Art Society program in 2006. We have since then delivered some 7,500 concerts, professionally played to people in care, and when I say professionally played, they're played by first-class performers who are paid to do the work. And that's why we have to raise money and make the program work. And it was really quite simple for me. I saw people in late life living in care homes, and very much the level of culture in the homes is pretty low. There are gradual changes happening in the culture. We're seeing more and more understanding that diverse communities, as often we hear that sort of expression, should be including elders, whether they're in the community or whether they're in homes. And we have found a very great sense of need and value for what we do. And it's odd because there's a sense this is something extraordinary. Why should it, however, not be that people who are living out their last months or years in care, and very often it's 6 months, why should it be that they should somehow be considered a different kind of person? They are essentially us. They are just they're on the end of their life trajectory. But I always try to imagine them as they have been during their lives.
Art is not only to be taught by the development of skills, but by facilitating a space in which people can come in and feel safe, to be inventive, to explore, to make mistakes, and no matter the outcome, and where self-expression is the forefront. I arrived here with my baby in my arms and didn't speak any English in 1992. And my focus at that time was into integrating into this community, to show that I had something to contribute to this community, and to learn the language and survive, to provide for my young family. And 3 months after I arrived, I began teaching dance. And it is thanks to the language of art that I could build a community and that I could develop some connections. I struggled for a long time with wanting to belong in here. And being in a new place, I lost my identity as Mexican, and I did feel isolated. There was a feeling that I could not get off my skin, and it wasn't until I wanted to create my own work that I realized how I had forgotten who I truly was. So I had to go through a process of reconnecting with my culture. I had to reach into my memories, into my own body, into my past, and I discovered that I have a lot of things to say. So I realized it is through my art, through my dance, through my process, that I can connect all these dots, that I can find and redefine who I am.
The urgency of writing both of these books came out of a very strong community feeling, both in sort of the larger world and even Kids Lab. I covered it in the first book. The first book is the one that talks about the building of the bridge. That story showed me, when I unearthed it, that the First Nations have been left out completely, and 60 years onwards, in this story, which is the rebuilding of the bridge, they were still left out. All of their voices I recorded in print, and that was the only way that they could tell their story. When I first telephoned them to ask if I may, with my sort of grand purpose of writing the story of the bridge, and asked if it was possible to talk to them, the answer in every case was, "Come now." 2 words. No one had ever asked them for their stories. Kitsilano, fortunately for the First Nations, after more than 60 years, did settle for a price with the First Nations. But it meant they were nowhere in sight. The bridge land that was taken from them continues to be not remediated. So these are the struggles of every person, and every person in the book that I interviewed that was renewing the bridge was also coming from a personal struggle. And I tried very hard to listen and to include that. It is imperative to pass on at least the truth of their story. So that's my community purpose.